Okay, you want to know about my Android car stereo?
Yeah.
Well, before I can even turn it on, I need to make sure the Wi-Fi hotspot is turned on my phone, so it's got some internet.
That sounds inconvenient.
Yeah, it's not too bad. You get used to it, but I'm going to put that in there now, so it's got internet. So I'm going to put the key in. Here it comes on, look. Oh, noise. Let's mute it.
Do you have to do that every time that you turn your Wi-Fi hotspot on?
If you want internet, you do, yeah. Which
Okay.
is useful because then the nav has traffic information. So it's just an Android device. If you've seen Android before, you'll be familiar with it. So home is home. You can swipe through these different icons.
Oh, I can only just see. Yeah, okay.
You can see that, right?
Yeah.
But that means you can install any apps that you want on it. So for music, I tend to play through Google Play Music, which is what I listen to music on my phone.
Okay.
So I can just choose something I like. I can search for anything. I can even do a voice search. But if I just press play and unmute it, there you go. Turns off the radio and starts playing.
Okay, I've got questions.
Okay.
Can you do this completely using your voice, or do you have to touch it sometimes?
You can do it completely using your voice, but you wouldn't want to
Why?
because it's really slow and rubbish. Do you want to try it?
Yeah. Say that you've just set off, you're in a hurry, but you do want to play some music.
Hey Google. It's not even listening at the minute. Well, it is listening. You see, it's so slow. You think it's not worked.
So the problem is that it's slow. It takes a long time to respond.
Yes. Let's play that again. Hold on. Right, let's see if we can try again. Hey Google. Play Britney Spears.
Oh, this is very slow.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll get it eventually?
No idea. Hey Google. Play Britney Spears.
Oh, it's got it now.
Yeah, but it's not
That's
a
not
good
that
experience, is it?
Well, what about navigating? Can you say navigate to work?
You might be able to if you use Google Maps, but I don't particularly like Google Maps interface in a car.
Why? Surely that's ideal.
No, it looks too cartoony and doesn't tell you things like where speed cameras are, or at least not, it didn't when I last tried it.
Alright, what do you use?
So I prefer to use Nokia Here Maps, which
But you're using your finger quite a lot here.
yeah. So I do this when I just get in. I'll just press drive, just so it's in the drive mode. If I have this on, even if I don't want nav, because it tells me my speed. It tells me what the speed limit is in the area that I'm in.
Yeah.
And so it buzzes if I go over the speed limit to warn me.
Okay.
It tells me about speed cameras. It tells me how far I've travelled. It's quite good. It's got traffic information. So that red line on there, we can see that there's traffic and a petrol station. But it looks quite nice in the car. I think the car, you can't see because it's daylight, but the car's lights are blue anyway,
Right.
and orange, and it looks quite nice with the blue background. And it's really easy to set my destination. I'll just tap up here, and it's got my recent places. Although you probably need to blur this out, don't we, on the video?
Yeah.
But if I choose an address, the worst possible one that's going to need the most blurring out, look, it just starts navigation, and it looks like part of the car. It's really good. What I also like is on this particular model, it's got physical button controls, so I don't have to take my eyes off and use the touchscreen just to change the volume, to skip the track, to
Yeah.
pause, or to go back to the nav. So if I've gone to say music and I need to go back to the nav, I just press that and it brings up the map again. It's good for podcasts as well. You just get your podcast directly on the unit itself. So things like the Unusual podcast, you can just listen directly. Here we go. Look, we can just tap. This is Radio Public. There are other apps available. You just listen to a podcast on the unit itself.
Okay. How would you get No Such Thing as a Fish podcast?
Well, again, you can just install any podcast app. You can install Google Podcasts if you want.
Well,
But
no, you've already got one.
okay, so you want me to find No Such Thing as a Fish?
Yes, please.
So I think this particular app has a bad user interface, but there we go. So no search.
Don't do this when you're driving.
No, of course not. You would set it up first. I think that's the beauty of having both. Personally, I like the blend of controls. There's the controls you need when you're driving, like skip track, pause, go back to the nav, change the volume. They're physical controls I don't have to take my eyes off the road for.
Yeah.
But before I set off, I can just spend 30 seconds setting my nav and queuing up No Such Thing as a Fish, if that's what I want to listen to.
But there's no way to do it while you're driving using your voice.
Well, there is, but it's not
Not reliable.
very nice.
So when you were asking for Britney Spears earlier, could you have also asked for any podcast?
I think so. If you want to use Google Podcast app, I don't have that installed. I don't think,
Okay.
but the Google Podcast app links into that. What else do you have on here? You can watch a DVD if you want. Not safe while driving.
Probably best not to.
There is. Oh no, I do have Google Podcasts. There you go. So Google Podcasts is another way to get podcasts. Probably a little bit better user interface in there.
Could you send a text message while driving?
Not using this device.
There's email. I can see email there. Could you send an email while driving?
I could try. Well, theoretically yes, but I don't.
But it's
I
a bad
wouldn't-
idea.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to do it. There is actually an option in the settings to disable notifications and video players while driving,
Yeah.
so the unit knows, it's connected to the car, it knows how fast you're going. So yeah, it disables this. And can I show you a bit of funny translation? Because this unit's from China, so there's some funny translation in one of the apps,
Go on.
which always makes me laugh. Where is it? Car info somewhere. Vehicle, here we go. So, handbrake brake is brakes. Cleaning liquid is normal. Trunk is normal. Door is closed. Seatbelt, no buckle.
Which door?
Oil, 0 litres.
Why is there 0 litres?
I don't know.
You're running on fumes.
When I initially had it as well, the door, I think it's fixed now, but, oh no, yeah, so it doesn't, I've opened the right hand side door, but it thinks the left hand side door's open.
other side.
It's a bit confused.
So that when it says door is closed, it's just talking about your door.
Yeah, so theoretically, I think if I put my seatbelt in now, look, maybe. No, it still thinks it's not plugged in. Maybe I have to turn the ignition on. There we go, look.
Oh,
It works though, it connects to the
seatbelt
car.
buckle.
Yeah, it's good.
You've
Also,
done the buckle.
while the ignition's on, I can show you that if I press the buttons on the steering wheel, it does change the volume. So you have some control of the stereo from the steering wheel without having to take your hands off. the
Oh,
steering
that's
wheel.
quite good.
It integrates with the basic things in the car.
So you installed this.
I did. I also installed a reversing camera.
Wow.
Yeah,
So you added your own camera.
I did my own camera. So it just comes on when you put it in reverse. And it links into the car's own parking sensors as well to give you this radar display front and back. This car has front and back parking sensors, so I can see.
What does this button do?
That changes the brightness of the screen.
All right, fine.
This is an SD card slot for some maps, for certain apps. Never used it.
Yeah.
This is an SD card slot for music and things.
Yeah.
Never used it apart from, I think, to load on some kind of weird firmware update that I once did.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Could you not download that if you connect to the internet? Does it have to come to a...
It's a load of weird files that all have obscure Chinese file names and Chinese instructions, and you have to kind of cross your fingers and hope and pray.
Oh, weird.
Very, very, very occasionally, it will have a bit of a panic and reset itself, but but that's like once every 6 months at the most. It's not like a frequent thing. And I've seen actual proper manufacturer stereos do that.
Right,
My
okay.
old Ford Fiesta had the factory unit, did that every now and again, needed a reset.
Could you play a YouTube video while you're driving?
Yes, if you
Not that I would
turn off
recommend it.
the option in here, driving settings, you can say, look, allow watching video while driving. You can actually turn that off. So if you enable that, you can then watch YouTube while you're driving.
Oh, okay. Could you do that with your voice? So that you're not touching it?
Maybe. But that's kind of dangerous anyway. I'm not sure why you're advocating this. One of the weirdest things is you have
Don't
to
do your password, I'm recording.
No, this is just like a standard password for the unit, I think. I think it's that.
All right.
So they have these special factory settings which can basically, you can just break it, but some of the options have to be configured in here.
Okay.
Like you can choose the logo when it starts up, so I set it to Volkswagen because this is a Volkswagen. You can set the radio frequency. Some of the options though are hilarious, like where are we? Knob mode.
Oh,
Don't know
put
what
it in
that
knob
means.
mode, definitely.
Prohibit reverse, enable. It's never stopped me from
Prohibit reverse.
It's never stopped me from reversing. I'm not sure what that does.
How weird.
Yeah.
So, is it in knob mode already?
Well, I don't, it's two 10k, 20k DC ports. I don't know what that means.
All right, all the knob options.
You can do. Oh,
You've got a right rudder.
right rudder.
Is this also used for boats?
Yeah. I guess it must be. Get notifications at the top.
Is that useful or is that confusing if you're driving?
Well, there's an option to hide them when you're driving anyway, so you don't really need them.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't come up over the map, that would be really annoying.
Yeah, and it has built-in radio. You can actually get a DAB radio module for it, but everyone says that they are rubbish and don't work very well, so I've just coped with FM.
Could you do a Google search? You know, if you really, really want to learn something.
Yeah.
Like, how many wives did Henry VIII have? You know, it might just occur to you when you're driving that you want to know that. Could you
How
ask
many
it?
wives did Henry VIII have? There you go.
Mm.
There's the spouse count.
But it doesn't read it out to you.
No, I think if you ask the Google Assistant, it will. That was voice search, which is an older Google thing.
Whoa. So you had to press
Oh,
that.
hold on,
did
it
you?
was muted anyway, so it might be just because it was muted.
All right, okay.
Let's turn the radio off. Right.
Ask again, see if it's changed.
Hey Google. She's not. How many wives did Henry VIII have? See, it's so slow.
Catherine Parr from 1543 to 1547, Catherine Howard from 1540
It's
to
going into a lot of detail this
1542,
time.
Anne of Cleves from 1540 to 1540, and others.
This is actually one of the more powerful ones as well, or it was when I bought it. So this is an octa-core unit,
Right.
based upon, it doesn't mean much to me, but PX5 I think it's called.
Fine. Okay.
Is the processor, but they're obviously made quite cheaply. But it works. I don't know if I could go back now to a less feature-rich stereo. Who doesn't want a DVD player on their car stereo?
Who even needs a DVD player?
True.
Thanks, Andy. That was very informative.
No worries.